There are memories we cherish. The warmth of a hand held in winter, the echo of laughter in a hallway long gone quiet, the taste of a childhood dish. But curiously, they fade. They blur gently over time like an old photograph left too long in the sun. What stays sharp, what refuses to dull, are the moments we wish we could erase. The argument that went too far, the face we disappointed, the time we turned away when we should have stayed. Isn't it strange how joy slips through our fingers like water, but shame clings like oil? Why does the mind do that to us? Why do bad memories stay, replay, and sting, even decades later? You might be brushing your teeth or halfway through a peaceful walk and suddenly it hits. A memory so vivid, so unwanted, it stops your breath. No one else can see it, but you're there again. And it hurts like it just happened. This is the quiet reality for many of us. We are haunted, not by ghosts in old houses, but by moments in our own minds. And often it's at night, when the world has gone silent, that the memory walks in uninvited. That cruel thing you said, that failure you can't explain, that silence you kept when you should have spoken. Why do bad memories haunt us? The simplest answer is because we care. Painful memories are often attached to the things that matter most. Our values, our identities, our deepest needs for love, respect, belonging. When something threatens those, it leaves a mark. And unlike physical wounds, emotional ones don't scab over so easily. They live in the nervous system, the gut, the heart. I still replay things I said years ago, words I didn't mean. Or worse, words I meant in a moment of weakness, of pride, of fear. There are moments I can't forgive myself for. Sometimes, a memory feels as sharp as the day it happened. It's not just a thought. It's a physical sensation, a twist in the stomach, a flush in the face, a sudden drop in the chest. You tell yourself it's the past, that it doesn't matter anymore, but your body disagrees. Your memory disagrees. And so you carry it, silently, shamefully, hoping no one can see it leaking out of you. Sometimes the memory is old, distant, barely even verbal. It might be a vague sense of dread, a whisper of something unprocessed. You might not even know why a certain song makes you anxious, or why you feel uneasy in the presence of someone kind. But your body remembers even when your mind has tried to forget. There's a reason for this. From an evolutionary perspective, our brains are wired to remember danger. The caveman who forgot where the tiger was hiding didn't survive long enough to pass on his genes. Pain imprints deeper than pleasure because it teaches us how to stay alive. The brain's job isn't happiness, it's survival. And so it catalogs our mistakes, our embarrassments, our failures, not to torment us, but to protect us. But there's a problem. Unlike the tiger, modern threats are not always clear. A disapproving look from someone we love, a social rejection, a career setback. These aren't mortal dangers, but to the mind that equates belonging with survival, they might as well be. And so, a harsh word spoken in high school echoes louder than 1,000 compliments. A breakup lingers longer than the love that came before it. Sometimes, it's not just guilt or fear. It's longing. The ache of what could have been. The version of life you almost had, but didn't. The person you almost loved, but lost. The path you didn't take. Memory can trap us in possibility and the ache of the unlived. There's another layer too. Guilt. Guilt is the scar tissue of the soul. It forms when we feel we've violated not just others, but ourselves. When we've been cruel or cowardly or careless. And the mind, in its twisted form of loyalty, keeps bringing it up. It's like a child pulling your sleeve saying, "Fix this, make it right, don't forget." But what do you do when you can't fix it? When the person's gone? When the words are said? When the damage is done? You live with it. And that is the quiet heroism of so many people. Living with things they cannot change. Carrying memories they cannot rewrite. Some memories are wounds that never closed. Others are ghosts that return just when we think we've moved on. They knock on the walls of the mind, reminding us that time doesn't always equal healing. That silence doesn't mean peace. Freud once said that the mind is like an iceberg, most of it hidden beneath the surface. And bad memories often live in that hidden part. They affect how we love, how we trust, how we see ourselves. Sometimes we don't even realize a memory is guiding us until we find ourselves reacting with more anger, more fear, more sadness than the moment deserves. That's the echo. Nietzsche said, memory says, I did that. Pride replies, I could not have done that. Eventually, memory yields. But what if it doesn't? What if memory stays stubborn? Sometimes I think memory isn't about the past at all. It's about who we want to be. And every bad memory is a reminder that we failed. To live up to that idea, we don't grieve the event as much as we grieve the person we were supposed to be. What if memory, in its painful way, is trying to teach us empathy? That every time we remember what hurt us, we become more careful not to hurt others. That remembering keeps us soft, keeps us human. And yet, here's a thought. Maybe bad memories also mean that we care deeply, that we have a conscience, that we loved, that we tried. Maybe the only people free of haunting memories are those who've never looked back, never asked if they were wrong, never cared enough to regret. Memory is like a room we don't want to enter but live inside anyway. We decorate it with distractions. But sometimes, at night, when the noise quiets down, we find ourselves back there, sitting on the floor, looking at what we left unfinished. And maybe we're not meant to erase the memory one, but to change our relationship to it. To say, yes, you hurt, yes, you linger, but I am still here. I survived you. What helps, perhaps, is not trying to banish the memory, but to sit beside it. To say, yes, you're still here. And maybe that's okay. Maybe you don't need to leave. Maybe I just need to learn how to live with you without letting you control me. We are not just the sum of our bad memories. We are also the ones who endured them, who got up again, who held ourselves through the shame, who apologized, even if only in our heads, who promised to do better. And sometimes that's enough. Not perfect, not healed, but human. So if you find yourself once again revisiting that moment, that mistake, that pain, pause, breathe. You're not broken because you remember. You are healing because you can feel. And perhaps, just perhaps, remembering is how we try to heal, even when it hurts. But there's another possibility we rarely talk about. Maybe we revisit painful memories not to punish ourselves, but to stay close to the truth. We want to remember what mattered, even if it hurt, even if it broke us. Because forgetting feels like betrayal. A betrayal of who we were, what we felt, who we lost, and what it meant. Sometimes the pain is all that remains of something once beautiful. And to let go of it would mean admitting that it no longer has power, that it is truly gone. And some part of us refuses. I've seen people try to outrun their memories, through work, through perfection, through numbness. But the memory doesn't disappear. It changes form. It waits in the quiet corners. It shows up in our relationships, our hesitations, our overreactions. The past has 1,000 disguises and it knows how to enter when the guard is down. We think we've buried it deep. But we don't bury. We archive. And every archive has a key. The irony is, what we resist persists. The more we push the memory away, the more it fights to be seen. It wants acknowledgement, not rejection. It wants to be felt, not feared. And maybe that's the shift we need, not to get over it, but to get with it. Some of the most beautiful people I've met carry immense pain, not because they're weak, but because they've allowed themselves to feel. They didn't shut down, they didn't numb out. They let the past pass through them, not around them. And that kind of courage changes a person. Maybe that's what healing really is. Not the absence of memory, but the presence of gentleness. The ability to sit beside the wound and not flinch. To say, yes, this is part of me, but it's not all of me. Sometimes I imagine our memories as children, each one with a face and a voice. The joyful ones dance freely, the painful ones hide in corners waiting to be held. And perhaps that's all they ever wanted. Not to vanish, but to be seen without judgment. To be told, you mattered. Even if you hurt, we often talk about moving on, letting go, as if memory were a stone we can throw into a river. But memory is a seed. It grows, it shapes us. And sometimes what grows out of pain is wisdom, compassion, depth, a softness that wasn't there before. Think of the people you admire most, not the untouchable heroes, but the quiet ones. The ones who listen more than they speak. The ones who hold your pain without trying to fix it. Chances are they've known sorrow, they've wrestled with regret. And because of that, they are safe to be around because they know what it means to break and keep going. Maybe the work isn't to erase the past, but to carry it better. To stop dragging it like a chain and start wearing it like a locket, close to the heart, heavy, yes, but meaningful. You are not your worst moment. You are not the mistake you made at 17, or the silence you kept at 25, or the heartbreak you couldn't stop at 30. You are who you've become because of those moments. And that is something memory can't take away. You've built strength in the silence, wisdom in the regret, and grace in the ache. Those things forged quietly inside you are invisible from the outside but priceless in who you are becoming. So the next time the memory returns, as it always does, greet it like an old companion. Let it speak. Let it cry. Let it rest in your lap for a while, then remind it, I'm still here, and I'm listening, but I'm also living. Sometimes it's not the memory that needs healing. It's the younger version of you inside it. The version who didn't know better. The version who was scared, who was trying, who meant well but didn't have the tools. Wrap your arms around that version. Tell them, you didn't fail. You were learning, and I'm proud of you. Because self-compassion is not self-pity. It's radical truth. It's saying, I made mistakes, and I still deserve love. I hurt others, and I'm still capable of good. I've fallen apart, Sai, and I still have worth. Every scar we carry is also a story of survival. And every time we revisit the pain with softness instead of scorn, we rewrite the meaning of it. We don't erase the past, but we reclaim it. So let your memories be alive. Let them visit. Let them teach. And then let them go, not in anger, but in peace. You're not abandoning them. You're integrating them. You're taking them with you and as part of a mosaic, not a chain. And perhaps, just perhaps, that's what it really means to remember well. So if this voice found you in the quiet, if it gave a name to something you've been feeling but couldn't quite say, maybe stay a little longer, maybe subscribe. Not for algorithms, not for numbers, but because this space was built for people like you. People who feel deeply, think quietly, and carry stories inside them. You're not alone here. And if you'd like to keep walking this path together, I'll be here whenever you're ready.